this guy would travel around, and all he would do is get the files of everyone he didn't want to see. And he made $1 million a year doing that. There's a story about a dentist, right? And a dentist, a traveling dentist in America, and he traveled around America, and all he did in America was go from city to city, and he'd get to the city, and he'd phone all the dentists in the city, and he would say, hey, listen, you know, I know you've been in practice for a while. You've probably got a whole bunch of paper files. This is quite a few years ago now. You've got quite a few paper files that you just probably want to get rid of or don't want, or what they call in America, they're called drop off or drop out patients or inactive. It's like all your inactive, just all those files you don't want. Let me do you a favor. And there were different rules on HIPAA rules and GDPR rules back then. And he said, let me just take those old files that you don't want. That's all he did. So essentially, he took other people's junk, what they didn't want, right? And you have all got, a lot of you, I mean, one of my inner circle members has got 30 years worth of files. And all he's doing in this time, he's taking 6,000 files and putting them, he's never contacted, they haven't, that like, all he's doing is taking those 6,000 files and putting them on a CRM or his computer system. Now he's able to monetize that and reactivate, because I think we're going to a phase where it is already anywhere from 5 to 15 times more expensive to get a new patient as opposed to reactivate one. Okay, so now is we have to really double down on our existing client base more than we've ever done. So this guy would travel around, and all he would do is get the files of everyone he didn't want to see. And he made $1 million a year doing that. That's all he did. Now, the big lesson that I get from that is if he made $1 million a year from other people's junk, essentially stuff they had discarded, what are we discarding under our noses right now? How many of you have got some old patients that just dropped off care? How many of you got files to go through? How many of you, if there's one thing you start with, go back to the last year. Okay, so let me first introduce you to this. So, and then this is really where you're going to get your gold today, would be, if you haven't heard of this, I'm sure you have, this is the 80-20 rule. So have you guys heard of the 80-20 rule? The 80-20 rule is that 20% of your effort or input often results in 80% of the outcome. So in a business, it often says that 20% of the customers will be responsible for 80% of the revenue. Okay. Now, I know you might go, yeah, I've heard of that, but I promise you don't fully understand the significance of that. Because should you be sending a handwritten note to every single client right now? Yes, you should. Every single one. Should you be phoning every single one? Like now we're going into the phase as we come out of this. Yep, you should reach out to every single one. But are you gonna? Probably not. So here's what you can do though, and why this is relevant, is can you draw a list of your top 20% spenders? So there's a rule in business that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer, which means that people that are your most loyal customers, are responsible for 80% of the turnover. So if I had to choose one segment to work with, it would be this 20% because I can do it from a functional perspective. I've got enough time to do it. I can just about reach it. And I'm going to give my biggest bang for my buck. You guys understand? So this is where I would focus with all of you, is I would draw this list up. There's a couple lists. One, you want to be looking at inactive clients right now, let's say that by definition is they haven't been in for 3 months, and you want to go back for like the last 2-3 years and at least do this stat. I want to know everyone's name who has not been in for the last 3 months that has spent above what you or had above a certain amount of limits that you decide are high spends. So you may start and say, I want to know every single client that has not been in that spent above 1,000. And I want to see how big the list is. So I might look at the list and I might go, wow, there is 4,000 people on that list. They are inactive, that have not seen me in the last 3, 4, 5 years. They're like, oh, that's quite a big list. So should I do something for them? Yep, I should do something for them. But now I want to take that same list and I want to go, that same list. What's my top 300? What's my top 300 of that list? What am I doing for them? Am I going to send them something like really cool in the post? Am I going to call every single one of them? What am I going to do for them? So you want to double down on inactives that have been your most loyal customers. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this. Reverse customer loyalty should be for our entire customer base, but you want to focus right now, if you can, on the top 20% because it's just about manageable for you. Just about manageable for you to go to every single one, the phone, every single one, right? Do my freaking handwritten letter if you have to. Whatever you got to do. Send them a freaking gift card in the post. Send them a whatever. Because, I mean, guys, I'm working harder than I've ever worked my entire life doing this thing. Because that's what I'm doing for like that business is I'm going all in for my customers. All in. Done with your books and one-on-one calls and extra stuff and done for your newsletters and just going all in because I want to, first and foremost, I'm looking after my existing customers because they're right under my nose. They're the gold under my nose, right? Those are super, super, super important. So then the other list that's important is, so you've got inactives, high spends, and go back. And just, you must know those names. Then you also want to do the opposite of that is active high spends. Now, it should be the whole active list. If you haven't got a massive diary right now or schedule, that's good in a way because you can reach out to every single one of them. But should you be keeping in personal contact with every single one of them, especially now from next week? Like, yeah, like massively so, massively so, massively so. So that's something like, you know, special announcement yesterday. You know, we had a meeting this morning, myself, my business partner was like, cool, from next week, we're shifting gears from next week. Hey, thanks for watching the video and hopefully you found it helpful. And if you have found it helpful, you might want to grab one of my free books called New Patient Avalanche. It's exactly how we grew our 8 practices, $7 million worth of turnover, 10,000 new patients every single year. It's the exact marketing blueprint we use for that. It's completely free. All you do is pay for shipping. So click on the link or go to my website, dcpracticegrowth.com, and grab your free book. We'll send it to you and some other resources. It's free. All you do is pay for shipping. Go to the website. See you on the other side.